So I'm super late to this party, but let's talk about the OnePlus 6. Now the OnePlus 6 was revealed last week and it went on sale earlier this week. And I actually picked one up and then I canceled my order and it was a whole thing. I'll explain that towards the end of the video, but right now let me start off talking about what I think about the OnePlus 6. Now, I haven't really done too much digging into it. I haven't watched too many in-depth reviews. I just I scraped the surface here. I found out the exact details about the phone. I found out the specs and all that just to make sure that you guys don't roast me afterwards for misquoting something. But even if I do, please just chill out. Now the thing here is that the OnePlus 6, in my opinion, is it's a great practice in marketing. OnePlus does an excellent job marketing. I don't think that any other manufacturer, cell phone manufacturer, even comes close to what OnePlus does with their marketing. It is just unbelievable to me. It's very, very good, and I compliment them for that. But I'm not a big person about the company or the marketing. I'm about the phone. So let's look into the phone itself. And right now, I'm looking at the product description page, and it starts off with a description saying 20 megapixel plus 16 megapixel primary dual camera with OIS, super slow motion, portrait mode, and 16 megapixel front-facing camera. So let me decode that for you. First of all, the primary camera is actually 16 megapixels and the secondary is 20 megapixels. So kind of misleading telling you the 20 in front and 16 in back. It makes you think that the primary one is 20. It's not. It's actually 16 megapixels, but it is, the primary camera is OIS. It does support optical image stabilization. The 20 megapixel sensor is electronically stabilized. It does support slow motion. It does have portrait mode on the rear-facing camera, and a front-facing portrait mode should be pushed in an update. Apparently, it's not available out of the box right now. The camera here kind of confuses me. I don't understand what's going on with the 16 megapixel primary, 20 megapixel secondary. They both have the same aperture. It's just, it's weird to me. Maybe it's for the just for portrait mode, not real other applications to it. But I would have liked to seen a wide angle camera, if not even a wide angle, at least a telephoto lens that would have given you a little bit more variation and ability to extract more performance out of that camera. Let's move into the display, and the display is something that I've always been very openly not a fan of OnePlus displays. Now, I'm not saying they're bad, but they're just not that good. So I come from using all kinds of phones, and mostly right now I've been using flagships, and all of them have more than a 1080p display right now. The iPhone 10 has it's just all above 1080p. I can't quote the exact numbers right now, I'm sorry, but coming from those, going down to the 1080p display of the OnePlus, which is actually 6.23 inches, a really big display on a 1080p screen, I can clearly tell the difference in clarity. It just doesn't look as good. Overall, the experience doesn't feel good. Now, if you're only in that OnePlus sphere, if you only use these OnePlus phones successively and you haven't experienced a phone with a higher resolution screen, you won't understand what I'm saying. You'll say 1080p is more than enough. Our content is almost always in 1080p. Heck, this video is in 1080p. Why do you need anything more than that? Now, the reality is that while 1080p is enough, these screens are getting so much bigger that while they do maintain the same pixel density, the clarity is just not comparable anymore. It does look a lot less clear than it would on a Samsung Galaxy S9, an iPhone 10, any of these newer smartphones that have a higher than 1080p resolution. Now, I'm not saying you have to go crazy with 4K or something like that, but at least a QHD display or something a little bit more than 1080p, especially on a screen that's 6 inches, would really help. Then there's the Snapdragon 845 with the 6 or 8 gigs of RAM. Now, this is actually, and the thing that works into this is the speed you need. So the speed you need is what they're focused on. Their marketing tagline, their push here is the speed you need. Now, the speed you need is, it's kind of making it sound like this phone it's just so much faster than everything else out there. It's so much faster than the previous OnePlus, all that. It's not. It's blatantly just misguiding you. The reality is this phone is marginally better than the 5T. Honestly, you wouldn't even notice the difference if I gave you these phones and told you that they're, a generation apart. It just speaks to how good the 5T is, and it speaks to the fact that these phones only came out 6 months apart. There isn't much technologically different about them. The 845 does have its advantages, but it's not so much that it would just overshadow the 5T with the Snapdragon 835 or any other flagship, to be very honest with you. Now, it is good to sell something like that with a marketing gimmick, you know, make people think you're the fastest by a very big distance. The OnePlus is definitely the fastest phone right now on the market. I'm not going to lie about that, but it's not by a big margin. It's very, very small. And that margin actually only comes from the fact that it uses 8 gigs of RAM over the 6 gigs or 4 gigs that other people use. And the 8 gig RAM is also an option. So if you go for the 6 GB, it depends on which variant you're going for. But honestly speaking, the speed you need, it's a little bit, you know, it's overhyped. It's not that big of a deal. And people need to understand that if they are going to buy this phone, don't buy it expecting to just blaze everything else in comparison to the other flagships or competitors out there. It's just not. It's the same chipset that every other phone is using, the Snapdragon 845. The only real difference here is that most phones don't use 8 gigs of RAM. This one does. It has a 3300 milliamp hour battery with dash charging. That's pretty standard, no big deal there. It has face unlock, fingerprint scanner. It is water resistant now, so that's a very cool thing. Water resistance has now been added to the phone, but it's not IP rated. It's kind of splash proof, weatherproof. There's so many marketing terms for this, but it's slightly water resistant. It's not really proof. It's not really water resistant either. It's just, you know, if you splash some water on it, you're not going to have a dead phone within seconds. It's something like that. Even OnePlus does, you know, even in their coy marketing terms, it does say don't put the phone in water. That's not going to work. It's for light splashes and stuff like that. I'll try to find a screenshot and put it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And it does have all the other basic stuff. Now, one of the key changes with the OnePlus 6 from the 5T is the design. The design with the 6, the thing is there's a glass back, there's a notch on the front with the display, which I don't like. I've spoken about this a lot of times. Notches they rob space from you with already these displays being weird aspect ratios. If you're watching videos, you have to zoom in. When you zoom in, notches take away even more space. The 6 does allow you to kind of use that notch as a non-existent place, so you could change the setting, which would allow you not to view anything in that area except the vital information. But it already has that 19:9 ratio, which makes things worse. And overall, they could have just made the chin and the chin on the top and bottom thinner and, you know, kind of like the 5T and called it a day. But no, you know, they had to do the same thing that the iPhone has, what every other phone is doing. And there's just no individuality to it at all. And then there's that back with the glass. And I'm not a fan of that either. The issue with that glass back is that, you know, you'd think that they're going to put in wireless charging if they're giving you a glass back. Changing over from the aluminum build of last year over the last 3 years, in fact, I'm sorry, 2 years, you know, you'd think that they're giving you something. That's why they'd make that switch. They're not. It's just purely aesthetics. And my theory here is that they're doing this on purpose. They don't have too many ideas anymore, you know. They're pushing it when it comes to these smartphone releases. A new smartphone every 6 months, there isn't much you can do. Even every 1 year, Apple struggles to give you new features and new things. Every 6 months, you're struggling. So I think OnePlus, on purpose, they just held back wireless charging, and there's something they're going to sell you on the 6T for. So it's just going to easily implement that wireless charging in the back. There's nothing too complicated about it. But OnePlus didn't want to, you know, and there was people who told me, no, the glass back is also for the NFC. It's utilized by that NFC sensor. And it turns out that the NFC sensor is not even on the back. It's in between the camera module that is in the center of the phone. So in reality, that glass back is just for show, and it reduces durability. It doesn't really do much, and honestly, it's just... I don't know why OnePlus went that way, you know, and it's very clear at this point to me that it's just to get ready for the next version they have to sell you in 6 months. And then there's the single firing speaker as well. They don't have a dual firing speaker. Almost every other flagship now has a dual speaker setup. It's not that hard to implement. OnePlus, again, left it out. I think that's something to sell you on for the 6T. This one is the design change. Next one will be just adding these small little features since they're really stuck and don't know what to do. And, you know, that was a lot of OnePlus bashing in a very short time, but I don't hate the OnePlus 6. It's not a bad phone. The thing with it is that it is marketing itself to be something that it's just not. It's not the world's best phone. It's not the world's best flagship. It doesn't destroy every single flagship out there. In fact, the top of the line OnePlus 6 and the Galaxy S9, depends on where you live, it's only a $50 to $100 difference. Now, with that small of a difference, you're getting dual speakers, you're getting an undoubtedly better camera system, you're getting a much the best display, in fact, on a mobile phone right now, in my opinion. And you know, the S9 on a whole is a much better flagship. Now, people will argue with me on that, but I think that when it comes this close to a flagship in pricing, you need to be able to actually stand up to the flagships and not cut corners with, you know, things like wireless charging, the dual speakers, the main thing being that display. It's just something OnePlus really needs to work on. And there are good things about the phone. It's now splash resistant. It maintains that headphone jack, which, you know, I don't really use, but I can see why people would want that. It's got, you know, the typical OnePlus speed. It's just a very decent package overall. The skin is perfect on it, and a lot of people do like the OnePlus 6, but I personally, I'm not impressed by it because I just think it's a very small change from the 5T. It's got that new screen, it's got the new glass back, but otherwise, they really haven't done too much to it, and I would have liked to see at least 3 other features they could have easily added that they didn't, which I can guarantee will come out in the 6T. And in fact, I'll reference back to this video whenever the 6T comes out to see if they actually did that. Now, I rambled on way too long with that. You know, it turned into a OnePlus rant over there a bit. But let me tell you the story behind why I don't have a OnePlus 6 yet. So initially, when the sale started, I ordered it online, and I was waiting to order the Avengers Special Edition phone. Turns out that the Avengers Special Edition phone wasn't going to be available for a couple more days. And actually, it's only available in India, and I'm only going to be in India for a couple more days. Now, I thought that, you know, I did some weird rough calculations, and I somehow ended up thinking that it would only be available to purchase a day before the actual, you know, me leaving. So then what I did was I was just like, you know, it's not going to work. Then very quickly I tried to figure out if I could, which color to get, the midnight black or mirror black, and there's a big confusion with that. And in the end, I ordered the mirror black, but I was just not happy. Then it was, you know, it got quite far. I paid for it. It was in fact out for delivery, and I still wasn't happy about it. Then I checked the website, and I found out that the Avengers one would actually be available 3 days before I have to leave, giving me a lot more time than I initially anticipated. So I decided, you know what, let me at least try to get that phone. If I don't get it, okay, I can order the mirror black anytime, but if I can get that, it'll be awesome because it is limited edition and it is only available here. So for now, I'm waiting on the Avengers edition to come out. It should be available for purchase next week, early next week. And I'll let you guys know if I get it or not, but you'll definitely be seeing OnePlus 6 content from next month, from next week, in fact. So stay tuned for that. And do let me know. The main thing I'm actually thinking about the OnePlus 6 right now is comparisons. I want to see how it stacks up to phones like the S8, the S9, the iPhone 7, all those phones, which are very similar price brackets now. So let me know what you guys want to see. Which phones would you actually consider instead of the OnePlus 6? So if you were given the option of OnePlus 6 or some other phone, what would that other phone be for you? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any questions about the OnePlus 6 or the any other phone, do let me know down in the comments below, or you can hit me up on social media. I have all the information for that down in the description below. I am a lot more active on social media because it's just a lot easier to manage, so be sure to, you know, hit me up there if you want to. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.